Okay, here we go. Israel is facing a multi-front war as it stands. Israel has called upon all of its reservists, and so here we go. Let's talk about this. This is not the first time Israel has faced a multi-front campaign, but this time it's a little different. They're facing an insurgency, not necessarily a professional military force. So they're going to be fighting a hidden enemy, and because of this, unfortunately, we'll have many casualties. Thank you, everyone who's joining. Make sure you guys like the video and make sure you turn on post notifications because you're probably never going to see this video. That's how YouTube works. Got to turn on that bell. Thank you for being here live. So let's talk about what's happening right now. This is being called the first stage. And before we can talk about this multi-front campaign, we need to talk about what Israel is actually doing to try preparing for an invasion. Thank you guys for being here. Again, make sure you like, turn on the notifications because we're going all in on this campaign. Thank you so much for being here. You guys finally got your notifications. I see that. So I got to turn them on. That makes me happy. Okay, first things first, a lot of people are questioning this move with Israel. Israel cutting off the electricity, fuel, and goods to Gaza. I'll let you guys decide on that, but this is actually pretty common practice for any sort of invasion, to include the United States over into Iraq, where you cut down or take out local goods, if you will, to make life difficult for your enemy. The issue is the enemy for Israel is embedded with civilian populations, so everyone suffers. Okay, so again, we're calling this the first stage. I'm not in the military. Israel is calling it first stage. The Israeli government will halt the supply of electricity, fuel, and goods to Gaza, according to a statement tonight from the office of Israeli Prime Minister. Again, a lot of people have questioned this, but what Israel is saying is, well, since you have taken our people, you've taken our military members, and you brought them into our country, this is the first step we have to do to get them back, apparently. Okay, now, the next thing we do have to talk about is, of course, the continued air campaign. Historically speaking, Israel always strikes back immediately. The issue is now you have civilians getting hurt because Hamas, hiding in the Gaza Strip, embeds themselves behind civilians. Hey, thank you so much for the $10 donation. I heard some Yanks got taken out in Israel. Not good. It is not good. Not good at all. We don't want to see anybody get hurt. So that's why I'm trying to report this and give you guys the news as it is, and I let you guys decide what's right and wrong. Nonetheless, though, the air campaign over the Gaza Strip right now, how long can it last? Is it as effective as it was previously? We've never seen Hamas attack Israel the way they have, where they've captured a lot of Israelis, to include, again, women and children. We have actually identified the names of real people who are in the hands of Hamas. This air campaign can be rather, what's the word I want to use? You can do what's called fratricide, where you can take out your own people. So Israel has to be extremely careful with these air campaigns because, again, you don't want to take out your own hostages. Otherwise, you defeat the purpose of what the mission is for Israel. Now, Israel is calling this an all-out war, but it's like a little bit of we're on the offensive and we're on the defensive, trying to find the middle ground. Second off, let's start to get into what this multi-front campaign is. So we have the main factions of Hezbollah and we have Hamas. Hezbollah is embedded in Lebanon, backed by Iran. Same goes with Hamas, backed by Iran. But they all share a common fight, or what's the word, motivation. They want to take back what's theirs, is what they're saying. They want to take back Palestine, Jerusalem, etc. So they do whatever it takes to do it. This is not new news. This has been happening since the beginning of time. And so, just to read this off real quick, Hezbollah has fired on 3 Israeli positions in disputed area along the border with Syria's Golan Heights. And I will give you guys a live interaction map so you can visually see what Israel has to deal with now on all fronts. Lebanon's Hezbollah militant group fired dozens of rockets and shells on Sunday and 3 Israeli positions at a disputed area along the country's border with Syria. For those of you who are not aware, Syria does border Israel. Again, I'll show you a map. And again, thank you guys for being here. Make sure you are turning on your notifications. Otherwise, you will miss the stream. I promise you'll miss it. And make sure to like it. And I will post this video. Hezbollah militant group allied with Hamas in Lebanon said in a statement that the attacks using large number of rockets and shells was in solidarity with the Palestinian resistance. So understand this. These are two separate factions with the same goal. They're not necessarily even in the same location, but nonetheless, they work together. It's almost like if the United States has an issue with a country, the British will be like, we support you, USA, because you're our friends. Sort of like that. Okay. And I got a little bit of a quick snippet video for you guys. I know you guys love tanks. YouTube and you guys love tanks. I think is it because of World of Tanks? Is that why people love this stuff? We got Israeli tanks are seen moving along the border with Lebanon. Again, this is more of a defensive tactic because who knows what can happen at this point. Once your country gets invaded by over 1,000 people and 5,000 rockets, you have to start mobilizing. Okay, so let's go to the interactive. Yeah, let's do this real quick. Interactive map. Now, this is the first time I'm using this, so show me a little grace here. World of Tanks. Sorry if that was loud. I don't have my headphones in. Okay, so here's our interactive map, and you can visually see in real time where attacks are happening. It might be a little laggy because of the countless advertisements. No one wants to buy that. Okay, so obviously most of your action is for sure happening down in the Gaza Strip. Now, there was a lot of speculation and people were worrying, well, what happens if Egypt gets involved or Jordan? Not going to happen. There are peace treaties and deals that it cannot happen. First off, if Egypt even thinks about getting involved in this conflict, immediately all of their funds will be shut off. And Egypt has a lot of enemies outside of their own issue, so it would be pretty detrimental for Egypt to do that. Egypt. As far as Jordan is actually a close ally with the United States and also has a peace deal with Israel. They've actually done missions together and worked together to try fighting a common enemy, the bad guys. Can't say the word on YouTube. So Jordan and Egypt out of the question. Now, as far as potentially helping them monetarily, helping them as in Hamas, Hezbollah, possibly the main culprit for helping these groups is, of course, Iran. I'm not saying it. Iran is saying it. These groups are saying it, so don't get mad at me. So let's zoom in on Gaza. Even my computer is like, there's way too much action going on down here. Now, this red zone right here is where most of the fighting is happening, of course, outside of the Gaza Strip. You do have reports that Israeli commandos and the Israeli military actually cannot get a foothold into the Gaza Strip or the border of the Gaza Strip. You have countless strikes happening within Gaza, as we know. Overall, ultimately, this is where all the action is happening. And what's really cool about this map, we can actually click on an icon and you get the direct news here. Am I starting a news channel? Honestly, I wasn't going to cover this topic, but I've actually, and it's good to see you, Chris. I've been like researching and reading about all this since I was probably like 13 years old. And so this almost fell in my lap like, well, I might as well try to educate some people. And so this was 6 hours ago. Hopefully you guys can see this. Give me a thumbs up if you could see this. Israeli army says it's evacuating civilians from the following towns: Nahal, Oz, Erez, Nir Amam, the list goes on. And so you have evacuations of all these towns because, again, you are getting a lot of reports of Israel actually cannot even take these towns back without not leveling it, but without it being extremely violent. Got that thumbs up. I see you guys. Okay, now as far as attacks happening outside of the scope that we understand, which is down in the Gaza Strip, you have these acts of violence also happening near Lebanon. Let me get you a good one here. Here we go. Let me know if you guys can see that. The Israeli army opened fire a short while ago to remove the number of suspects from the infrastructure area that was attacked earlier today from Har Dov area, which is the Hezbollah attack. Also within the West Bank, this is not really being talked about too much. Confrontations and throwing of homemade B words. I definitely can't say that on YouTube. Within Israel. So again, you have attacks happening everywhere. I don't know how Israel is going to be able to necessarily navigate all of this. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be rather complex because this strategy of using F-16s and taking out populations, this is an old strategy that Hezbollah and Hamas have seemed to really figure out. If they have managed, not if they can, they've managed to figure out if we can go into Israel, if we can grab some of your people and bring them back into the country, you can't do anything about it. Hey, thank you, Chris, for the $5 donation. Long-time donor, W's in the chat for Chris. I love you so much, bro. Thank you for your service as well. He was military police, but we'll show him some grace. Yeah, this is a very great point, and we'll probably end on this point from Josh. Again, turn on your notifications and like the stream. You guys will miss the stream if you do not turn on the notifications. The Gaza Strip is the most surveillance piece of land in the world. They beat it by going old school. Secret codes, meetings, face-to-face, no phones, back to French resistance tactics. That is the question at hand. How did it happen? Was there a chink in the Israeli armor? Now, I didn't even want to mention this. The guys who are in control of Afghanistan have also sort of chimed in. You know, the guys who start with the letter T that you're not allowed to say on here either. They've sort of chimed in and say, if you give us the opportunity, we'd love to join the fight. Talking to some friends who are well in depth in all of this, they said it's total garbage. They will never get involved. Logistically, it's almost impossible. Realistically, though, for sure, Hezbollah will probably get involved. For sure, we have Hamas involved. Those guys fighting in Syria, that's the question. The guys who start with the letter I. Again, I apologize. I would love to be able to say the words of the factions. I'm going to need you guys to do the math on it. They might get involved too. This is what they want. They want to get into Jerusalem. They want to take back what they call Palestine. This is the holy war. Hey, thank you for the $5 donation from Chris. Wow, no harassment about being airborne. Are you sick? Airborne. I was air assault. My knees can't handle airborne, but I hope you hit your head out the window. Okay, really good question, and I think we're going to end on this. Is there a likelihood that the U.S. will send Army SF over there? Understand this. It's a bit of a gray area because we sort of already have and have not. I'll make my face bigger for this. The United States is already embedded in Israel, helping with the Iron Dome, supplying Israel with logistics and technology, especially for the Iron Dome, because the United States actually doesn't get a lot of training or usage on this technology. So it's good practice to be embedded with them where the likelihood of a rocket attack happens. The thing that's scary is we also have U.S. troops who are deployed there who are special forces and other assets as well. And so the United States actually questioned Israel, how were you not able to see what was about to happen? I mean, we had massive amounts of people who were lining up to attack your borders. What happened? So the United States, I don't think they'll send boots on the ground to help with this ground campaign, but for sure have already said we will help you in any way possible, which means we will help you with reconnaissance. We'll help you with surveillance. We will send you guys stuff to supply the Iron Dome. Chris says SF is probably already there from the get-go. Exactly. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. In my opinion, for sure, I do think we will see a ground campaign. If you're shutting off the power and the electricity in an area, that's the first step. You try to weaken them, hopefully pepper them up. You have the air campaign still going. I don't think it's going to be effective at all. If anything, it'll actually fuel the fire to want to fight back or gain resistance against Israel. At the end of the day, Israel is calling this a war, but what it really sounds like is a hostage situation where they want to go get him back. That's the way I'm almost seeing it. So, hey, thank you for catching me live. Again, you have to turn on the notifications to catch me live. That's the only way you'll see it. Like the live stream, turn on notifications. And that is currently what's going on. Multi-front campaign, more factions are likely to join, but it's going to be an insurgency. I don't think it's not going to be a professional war versus Jordan, Egypt, etc., Saudi Arabia. It's not going to be that. So let's see how Israel handles it. I'm going to keep you guys updated. We're all in on this together, so thank you guys for being here. And we'll see you guys later. Make sure to like the posted video. If I didn't see your comments, go like the posted video and go comment on the posted video so I can respond back to your comments. And thank you for the donations. We'll see you all later. Thank you for being here and thank you for supporting me. Love you guys so much.